Your time is now over? Okay. Well, it's now over, so.
You don't have to do anything we say.
Uh-oh, this could be a bad thing.
Debbie, thank you.
Thank you, Desmond.
We love you.
She's doing fine.
At this time, we welcome anyone to come up and address the board for a public forum session of the meeting.
My name is Kevin Mishak. I live on 8433 Holiday Hills. I'd like to thank the Township for the responsiveness to my request on sidewalks. Damn, I can't talk to you. Mr. Severs, I think I have you to thank most. I noticed over the last few weeks or month that there have been engineers and surveying, and I hope the process just continues. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you.
Hey, Glenda.
Hi, how you doing,
Good.
Josh? Thank you. Thank
Sure.
you, trustees. Thank you, Anderson Township, for giving me this opportunity. And Steve, you coordinate a heck of a parade. Definitely. My
Yes, he
name
does.
is Glenda Smith, and I'm here on behalf of the Glenda A. Smith Youth Sanctuary. It's a nonprofit that was created last year in 2020. It's located at 119 East Court Street in Cincinnati, Ohio, 45202. Its mission is to bring governments, nonprofits, private businesses together to provide resources for children and families so they can reach the maximum potential. And we do that in 3 ways. One of the ways is by providing a Zoom youth discussion series, which focuses on it meets once a week for 1 hour, and it focuses on answering questions: who am I, why was I created, and it's biblically based. However, we will entertain other suggestions from other faiths. And then the second thing we do is family preservation, and we provide gift cards to families who may need some groceries, a little help for groceries that week, or crock pot or gasoline to get back and forth to work. And the third thing, which is like a really big thing, is I'm raising money, the nonprofit, it's a 501c3, raising money to build a residential youth facility on church property that has been allocated to us, and it's for homeless youth. And the ideal is to allow homeless youth to come in and to give them an opportunity to maximize their potential by teaching them faith, work ethic, and charity. And the reason why I created this nonprofit is because I was raised by a single parent with very limited resources. When my husband died, our son was 3. So I was a single parent, and I went all through college with 2 children. And it's a very difficult situation, and it does require a village to get where I'm at anyway. It did take a village for me, and it did take not only my mother, but my extended family, which is my grandparents, my uncles, my aunts, and then the charity of teachers and vice principal and a professor. And so that's why I have 4 or 5 degrees and have, accomplished what I've accomplished. Also, this nonprofit is a legacy to my children. I have 4 children, 3 of which are really good at charity. The 4th one, which happens to be a male child, by the way, thinks he's charitable because he provides nice housing at affordable prices. So he says, Mom, I am providing charity. So, you know, I'm still working with them. So, yeah, you know, because my ideal of charity is giving of your time, talents, and money and not expecting anything in return. And so I'm leaving this to my children and to our community, which is Hamilton County. So if there is anybody in Anderson Township that has a need, you can email Glenda A. Smith Youth Sanctuary at gasmithys@gmail.com. And if you have any fundraising ideals, let me know.
You have some cards with you?
Yes, I do. And if you have any questions?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Glenda.
Thank you.
Is there a website as well on here?
There is a website.
Okay. I see it.
You can pass these down.
Yeah, we'll pass them out. Let me have it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay. Dee, Andrew, anything to add?
Go ahead, Dee. Nothing?
School's in session. Buses are on the roads, so there, and I just saw on our web, I just shared it today, and it's on our Facebook page about busing, what to do when you pass a bus. Like, do what you're supposed to do. That's all I have to, because every year around this time, we start getting into that.
What do
whole
you do?
thing. You don't pass the bus. Stay behind the bus. That's all, that's really all you have to do, so. Anyway, there's all kinds of rules, all the rules are on our Facebook, on the Township Facebook page.
Yeah, that's a great, that's a great reminder, because when you're supposed to stop and when you're not supposed to stop sometimes can cause problems.
Will you stop?
I always stop. Actually, I had a report today. Someone came in and said they saw somebody passing a bus, creating a dangerous situation. I'm gonna get with you on that. The world's going through a lot of we're in a weird time, and there's a lot of bad things going on in the world as we hear in the news. And I'd just like to remind everybody that although it seems like, obviously what's going on in Afghanistan is hogging the news or sucking up all the bandwidth on the news, there was an earthquake in Haiti. Those people are in need. I would ask everybody, if you can contribute, Matthew 25 Ministries is doing a great job. And I always support them, and they're collecting anything that you might have. So if you can be generous, please do. And we're in weird times, and I'd ask that your thoughts and prayers go out to those that are struggling in different parts of the world today.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you. Ken, you're up.
Thank you. The financial reports indicate that we have collected most of our revenues for this year because we just got our second half real estate tax settlement, and that constitutes most of our revenues that we get. We will still get some more in, but we will be over what we have estimated, maybe by 3 or 4%. Could be a little bit more than that. The expenditures after 7 months, more than half a year, or somewhere in the middle 40s, little less than 45%. So we always say at the end of the year we probably will catch up on a few of those, but we will continue to watch and make sure that we don't go over what our budget was. Like I said before, we'll come in under budget this year as usual. We have one appropriation change. It's a minor one. The General Health District, which is a one-line item in our general fund, came in a few $100 under or over what we had anticipated to spend, and we just would like to have a transfer from the auditor and treasurer's fees of $1,000 into the General Health District fund to cover that. So I would need your approval on that change.
I move to adopt the appropriation changes recommended by Fiscal Officer Ken Dietz.
Second.
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Girth?
Yes.
And I think we have a couple minutes to approve here.
I move to adopt the approval of minutes of May 6th and 7th, 2021.
Second.
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Gerth?
Yes.
I move to adopt the approval of minutes from July 15th, 2021.
Second.
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Gerth?
Abstain.
Thank you.
Well, kind of. I was trying to log in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that was.
Yeah, I forgot, yeah. Okay.
Margaret, anything? Thank God. Paul?
7, okay.
Good evening. Just one item under our agenda. In August each year, the township is required to approve a resolution certifying the cost to the auditor for nuisance abatement expenses. We had one left over from last year, which was in October, 7080 Hunley. This was for mowing grass, and we also mowed, it was a continuing nuisance. We needed to mow it again this spring, but since then, they have started mowing the grass. So we just have one property that we mowed twice for a total cost of $720. So there's a resolution for your consideration.
I move to adopt a resolution certifying written report of action of this board and unpaid expenses in connection therewith under section 50587 of the revised code of Hamilton County Auditor for Collection.
Second.
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Gerth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Paul. Sheriff's report, anything? Thank you. Now oh no, we're not there yet. Hello, Eric.
Hi, Eric.
Public
This evening-
Works.
This evening, we have the application for the 2021 20% Distribution Funds Program, and that needs to be turned into the county engineer's office by 1 p.m. on Tuesday, August 31st, 2021. Our share this year of the 20% funds is $29,340 even. The funds for the 20% funds will be used for the 2022 curb and sidewalk program, and that's before you this evening for your consideration.
I move to authorize submission of the Hamilton County 20% distribution funds application in the amount of $29,340 with such funding to be used towards the 2022 curb and sidewalk program.
Second.
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Gerth?
Yes.
Thank you. Up next, we have our salt bids for this year. And as the board is aware, for the past several years, the township has been purchasing road salt off the Hamilton County purchasing contract. Anderson Township, along with other communities in Hamilton County, gain a bidding advantage by buying salt by using an economy of scale method to purchase larger amounts. This year, the collaborative efforts of the county and partnering jurisdictions, the bid was received by Compass Materials America Incorporated at a rate of $67.52 per ton. Last winter, we paid Cargill a rate of $89.66 per ton. So in a normal year, we purchase around 2,500 tons of salt to get through the winter. And as we head into the 2021-22 winter season, I would recommend award of the contract to Compass Materials America Incorporated, who had the lowest bid price of $67.52 per ton.
It went from 67 to 75 to 85, so they had a pretty aggressive price.
So this, go ahead. I'm just thinking the savings over last year at $20 a ton
Yeah,
times
Yeah.
2,500.
right.
I can't do the math, but it sounds like a lot of money.
Well, let's hope we don't use that 2,500.
So we don't need, I mean, it's
Yeah,
kind of,
really.
we
There-
buy
and
it,
then
we
there's
don't need
that.
it. I move to authorize the township administrator to enter into a contract with Compass Materials America Incorporated for the purchase of road de-icing salt under Hamilton County contract for the 21-22 winter season at a rate of $67.52 per ton delivered.
Second.
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Gerth?
Yes.
Thank you. Up next, we have everybody's favorite, the 2021 lighting districts. And as the board is aware, every September, a number of lighting districts come up for renewal, and filing is required by Hamilton County. As a result, we ask for your approval in August of the following lighting districts so we can prepare the necessary paperwork in the coming weeks to get everything turned in time and complete the process. So as much as I hate to say this, there are 10 lighting districts before you this evening for your consideration.
Okay, here we go.
Dean's gonna read all these?
I got-
Sorry,
no,
said
I move
everyone.
to adopt a resolution rescinding resolution number 200820.06 and awarding contract and confirming assessments for Ashton Grove Lighting District pursuant to revised code section 9.30, 515.81, 515.11, and 515.08.
Second.
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mr. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Garrett?
Yes.
I move to adopt a resolution awarding contract and confirming assessments for Eagles Gate Lighting District pursuant to revised code section 9.30, 515.081, 515.11, and 515.08.
Second.
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mr. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Garrett?
Yes.
I move to adopt a resolution rescinding resolution number 2008-2007 and awarding contract and confirming assessments for Fox Trail Farms Lighting District pursuant to revised code sections 930, 515.081, 515.11, and 515.08.
Second.
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mr. Stone?
Yes,
Mr. Garrett?
Yes.
I'll give you a break.
thank you.
You've been practicing.
I know, I'm doing well.
It's
I'm on a
really-
roll.
It's kind of sad. I move to adopt a resolution rescinding resolution number 20082005 and awarding contract and confirming assessments for Landings of Anderson, Phase 1 Lighting District pursuant to revised code sections 9.30, 515.081, and 515.11, and 515.08.
Second,
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mr. Stone?
Say yes.
yes.
Mr. Garrett?
Abstain.
Was
That's
that your
That's
neighborhood?
your neighborhood.
Yeah, I don't want to be accused
Yeah,
of.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
probably a
really.
smart decision. I move to adopt a resolution rescinding resolution number 20082008 and awarding contract and confirming assessments for McIntosh Lighting District pursuant to revised code sections 9.30, 515.081, 515.11, and 515.08.
Second,
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
yes.
Mr. Garrett?
Yes.
Not that hard. I move to adopt a resolution awarding contract and confirming assessments for Merritt Grove Lighting District pursuant to revised code sections 9.30, 515.081, 515.11, and 515.08.
Second,
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
yes.
Mr. Garrett?
Yes.
I move to adopt a resolution awarding contract and confirming assessments for Stonebridge Lighting District pursuant to revised code section 9.30, 515.081, 515.11, and 515.08.
Second.
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Garrett?
Yes.
I move to adopt a resolution awarding contract and confirming assessments for Washington Hills South Lighting District pursuant to revised code sections 9.30, 515.081, 515.11, and 515.08.
Second,
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
yes.
Mr. Garrett?
Yes.
I move to adopt a resolution rescinding resolution number 2008-2011 and awarding contract and confirming assessments for Woods at Coldstream Lighting District pursuant to revised code sections 930, 515.081, 515.11, and 515.08.
Second.
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Garrett?
Yes.
I move to adopt a resolution rescinding resolution number 20-0820-13 and awarding contract and confirming assessments for Winds of Anderson Phase 2 Lighting District pursuant to revised code sections 9.30, 515.081, 515.11, and 515.08.
Second,
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
yes.
And that's the end of our lighting district.
Yes.
Yes.
Fun time of year.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let there be light.
Light it up.
Okay.
Chief Martin.
Tonight, the fire department is asking the board, they're asking for authorization for your approval and motion to allow the fire department to solicit bids for the refurbishment of a paramedic unit. And for the public, the refurbishment doesn't mean a new purchase. What it means is lifting the old box off the chassis, buying a new chassis, refurbishing that box, and putting it back on the new chassis, which saves an incredible amount of money as compared to the purchase of an entirely new unit.
The chassis is the frame,
Chassis is
engine,
the truck.
tranny.
Yeah, the
Cab.
frame, the cab, drivetrain, yeah.
Can I just put the note?
Huh?
Okay, go ahead.
Well, no, I mean, guys are I just didn't know what was involved. I mean, it's interesting. I'd like to, who does that?
Well, there's a number of companies out there to do it. That's why we're going with a bid. If it had been a single provider, we wouldn't be in the bid process, we would just ask them. But there's a number of companies out there that can provide this service.
Interesting. Love to see that. I move to authorize the Fire and Rescue Department to solicit bids for the refurbishment of a paramedic unit that is currently within the fire department fleet. The refurbishment process will, at a minimum, include the successful bidder providing a new truck chassis and specified upgrades to an existing patient compartment box.
Second.
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Gerth?
Yes.
Thank you. That's all for the fire department.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Good evening again. Mr. Severs and I are going to be tag teaming administration's portion of the agenda. First up is a request to accept bid for the Anderson Township Bondic Drive sidewalk replacement. The published estimate was $85,000. The recommended bid totals $59,374.15. The recommended award would be to Pruse Construction Company.
I move that this board hereby accepts the bid of $59,374.15 from Pruse Construction Company, deemed to be the most responsive and responsible bidder for the Anderson Township Bondic Drive sidewalk replacement project in accordance with the bid plans and specifications, together with a 10% contingency for a maximum appropriation of $65,311.15 in TIF funds. Further, this board hereby authorizes and directs this township administrator to give timely notice of award to the contractor, and after consultation with the law director, to enter into contract with Pruse Construction Company in accordance with their bid for the Anderson Township Bondic Drive sidewalk replacement project.
Second.
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Gerth?
Yes.
Thank you. The next item is also a bid award. This is for Fire Station 10 driveway. Fire Station 10 is the Salem Road Fire Station, and the published estimate was around $250,000. The recommended bid, including an alternate, totals $269,500. This contract can be awarded because it's not above the 10%, not in excess of the 10% estimate. So we would recommend award to Adlita Incorporated. There is a motion before you.
I move that this board hereby accepts the bid of $269,500 from Adlita Incorporated, deemed to be the most responsive and responsible bidder for the Fire Station 10 driveway replacement project in accordance with the bid plans and specifications, together with a 10%
That's not right.
contingency for maximum appropriation of $296,450 in Ohio Riverfront 1 funds. Further, this board hereby authorizes and directs Township Administrator to give timely notice of award to the contractor, and after consultation with the law director, to enter into contract with Adlita Incorporated in accordance with their bid for the Fire Station 10 driveway replacement project.
Before we vote,
Mr. Pappas?
hold on.
Wait, we
Hold
need a
on there,
second. I don't
yeah.
have a second.
In the, this bid amount, 262.5 is
And we just read
Adlita.
269.5.
No, you just said
It was a
two-
combination of the two, I think.
Yeah, we're,
I just want to make sure the numbers are correct.
yeah, they added the alternate, I believe.
They added alternate 1.
Yeah. So 262 plus 7 is 269.5.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah,
There you
it's
go. Okay.
including alternate 1.
Thank
I need
you.
a second.
Second,
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
yes.
Mr. Gerth?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Severs has the next several items.
He was reading his book.
Good evening. As Ms. Earhart mentioned, one of the items is the temporary Anderson Center Station relocation. The board's aware we've been working through a lot of steps to foster the redevelopment of the Anderson Center Station site. One of those involves the relocation of the park and ride that's been on that property for about 17 years now. The proposal before you and the authorization will allow us to enter into agreement with Victory Real Estate, Anderson Investors LLC, for the relocation of the park and ride, which is shown in this area, to the area here behind AMC Theaters and to the east of the Tri-Health parking garage. It's our hope that that would be able to be a temporary facility for less than 2 years, in which it can move back onto the site while construction continues on the apartment community above that. So there is a motion in your packet that authorizes, resolution in your packet that authorizes that agreement to be signed. We're still working through a few of the key details but this is a big step to moving this project along. So I appreciate your consideration. Any questions you have?
I move to adopt a resolution approving parking facilities agreement with Anderson Investors, Ohio, LLC, and authorizing its execution.
Second.
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Gerke?
Yes. And I'd like to say, Steve, it's very exciting to see this project moving forward. It's a huge part of the township.
Thank you. We feel the same way. So
I know all the work you've put into it and
Yes,
continue to.
thank you for
so
that.
thank you.
it's a total team effort. So I
No,
know
it's
a
a
lot
whole
of,
team
lot of
effort.
agencies and entities working together to make it possible. So speaking of parking, the next item we have is an item related to next month's Homerama. And this pertains to some safety recommendations, emergency access recommendations in the area off of Hopper Road in the Parkside Estates subdivision here off of Hopper on the south side, and also in the Glen Abbey subdivision on the north side. The Homerama event, of course, will be at the end of Stag's Run, moving so quickly that this 2020 aerial, you can't even see anything going on, nor can you see a road that's now there and 5 homes, et cetera, in that area. But the Homerama event will be here. The resolution before you would restrict parking on the street to prohibit that parking between noon on Friday through 9 p.m. on Sunday for 3 weekends, September 17th to 19th, September 24th to 26th, and October 1st to 3rd in both that subdivision and across the street to avoid any negative impacts that this might have into that neighborhood as well. Appreciate your consideration. If there are any questions, please let us know. Otherwise, there's a resolution in your packet. The sign order is ready to be submitted so that we can get these signs up by early September. We haven't been in contact with the residents in both subdivisions. They're very appreciative and support this direction as well.
Okay. I move to adopt a resolution finding that parking on Forest Edge Drive, Parkside Lake Drive, Innisfree Lane, and Balbriggan Court during certain hours during the 2021 Homerama at Parkside Estates would be hazardous or contrary to the public safety and welfare, and approving temporary parking restrictions with respect thereto.
Second.
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Gerke?
Yes.
Thank you. Third item we have pertains to false alarms. In 2018, after several years of working proactively to try to reduce the number of false alarm responses in our community, the board adopted a resolution that basically placed a false alarm fee, or gave us the option for the 4th and successive false alarms in a calendar year. We found that process to be helpful. Certainly in 2020 brought about another set of changes related to COVID that reduced that, but still nearly about 1 in 9 responses the Sheriff's Department makes is alarm responses. And I would guess, Lieutenant McElroy, that probably 99% of those alarm responses are false. And it's a time sucker, big time. It also is a situation where tracking that has become very difficult to leave notices, et cetera. The resolution that you have before you actually increases the number of, call them exempted or free false alarms, but what it will allow us to do is we're going to revert to a system of using the Hamilton County Communications Center data, so we can pull that very easily each month. What we are finding is that we are really only tracking, say, 1 in 3 or 4 of the actual alarms, so we'll be able to use that accurate data and just rely upon that to issue those fines and those letters accordingly, and we hope that this will help address that. Again, I think in 2020, there were about 2,100 responses. We make between 2,100 and 2,300 alarm responses a year. So it not only enables us to recoup some costs, but hopefully encourage residents to fix their systems, and more importantly, to ensure that our safety services are where they need to be to respond to real emergencies. So if there's any questions, otherwise we are looking forward to a much less complex system to track this moving forward.
Okay. I move to adopt a resolution waiving certain fees for false alarms.
Second.
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Gerke?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next item, there's a resolution before the board that would authorize acceptance of funding through the American Rescue Plan. The American Rescue Plan was signed by the President of the United States in March of this year. There was some debate over whether or not the $350 billion in emergency funding for governments throughout the country applied to townships in the state of Ohio. In June, Governor DeWine, the Ohio General Assembly acted. Governor DeWine ultimately signed the bill, which authorized $422 million of coronavirus local fiscal recovery dollars to be utilized by cities, villages, and townships. So as a non-entitlement unit of local government, Anderson Township is eligible to receive $4.6 million. Those dollars would come in 2 tranches. There are very, very specific guidelines and federal regulations as to how those dollars can be utilized. As I had previously discussed with the board, some of the ideas that we had, or some of the opportunities we have, are to use the dollars to respond to the public health emergency and its negative economic impacts. As we all know, the pandemic is not over, and this funding is eligible to be utilized by the end of 2026. It would have to be dedicated for a specific purpose by the end of 2024. So if we have any additional expenses moving forward that have not already been funded, we could utilize these funds. The funding is also available to make necessary investments in sewer, water, and broadband. We did bring to the board some ideas for water that would benefit the residents by reducing the impact of stormwater. Mr. Girth had also asked that we investigate broadband. I have been in discussions with Mr. Magna on our staff as far as the infrastructure that would be needed to accommodate that, and I have reached out to the school district. I'm awaiting a return call because they have some good data as far as where there are holes in the township based on students working from home, the virtual academy last year. So we are actively working on that. I'm not here to ask the board to authorize the proposed projects at this time. What I'm asking the board to do is to authorize me to register to receive that $4.6 million. We do have to register by September 4th, and then we will firm up plans, come back to the board with suggested recommendations for how those dollars should be utilized.
Go ahead.
I move to adopt a resolution accepting federal funds under the American Rescue Plan, ARPA, and authorizing the township administrator to complete registration. Not resolution.
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Girth?
Yes.
Thank you. We have a number of items arising from executive session discussions. The first is a resolution which would authorize the purchase of real property. It's before you, 11G.
I move to adopt a resolution authorizing the purchase of real property in the township pursuant to section 511.11 of the Ohio Revised Code.
Second.
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Girth?
Yes.
The next resolution before you would authorize the disposition of township property. I would ask for your consideration.
I move to adopt a resolution authorizing the disposition of real property owned by and located in the township pursuant to section 505.10A-6 of the Revised Code, approving a real property purchase and sale agreement with Claudius Roberts with respect thereto, and authorizing the execution and delivery of said agreement.
Second.
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Girth?
Yes.
Thank you. The last item is a limited home rule resolution which would authorize the acceptance of funding through the One Ohio subdivision settlement. This is related to the opioid settlement that has been worked on nationwide and certainly through the state of Ohio. The Ohio Attorney General, prior to the board's last meeting, had sent out information asking townships, municipalities of all sorts, counties, to consider joining into this opioid settlement with some of the opioid distributors. At that time, the board had adopted a motion authorizing me to sign the agreement that would go ahead and we could send to the Ohio Attorney General's office that would get us on the list that Anderson Township wanted to be a participant. The deadline was since moved to August 20th, which is tomorrow, and our law director recommended that the board adopt this resolution, which would enhance the motion and the action it's already taken. So there is a resolution before you.
I move to adopt a limited home rule resolution authorizing the acceptance of the material terms of the One Ohio subdivision settlement pursuant to the One Ohio Memorandum of Understanding and consistent with the terms of the July 21st, 2021 National Opioid Settlement Agreement and ratifying all actions taken by the Township Administrator pursuant to prior motion of this board in executing and delivering the One Ohio Subdivision Participation Agreement form and declaring an emergency.
Second.
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mr. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Gerth?
Yes.
Thank you. That's all we have for the board this evening.
Thank you. Next board meeting in this room will be September 16th at 5:30. Well, 5, and then 5:30. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Gerth?
Yes. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Who's going down? Ken, are you going down?
I can.
I'm not asking him to carry yours.